What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what could possibly be the worst Star Wars article I've ever read in my history of living. Now, a couple things to set up the scene, right? We got to set the stage and all that stuff. This comes from Rewriting Ripley, which I've seen a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot. And I try to stay out of most of it, right? I pick my controversial topics. I pick my things that I want to get super mad about. I make videos. I know there's other channels that just generally only talk about this kind of stuff, and hey, they got to do what they got to do. I don't want to always do that, right? But I have seen some very, in my opinion, and I do agree with this stuff, especially after reading this article, horribly negative things about this website. It feels like they're targeting, funny enough, right? They say that group targets people. They are targeting a very specific group that really doesn't exist, or doesn't exist all that much, let's say. And this is a horrible article. So we're not going to go after whoever wrote it. In fact, I don't even know who wrote this. I advise you to not click on this. I've already made that mistake, right? I've already given them the click. I've already given them the support. It's probably best to just not communicate with these people whatsoever, because the issue is, and I don't say that in a malicious or like, I want to exclude them on purpose or stuff like that. Literally, it's if they don't want to do it to us, if they don't want to have a conversation with us, then why should we? I mean, I guess it's just fairness, right? Why should we with them? I guess we actually should, but these people are lunatics anyway. One final thing to set the stage, I am in the camp that despised The Last Jedi. Now, if you loved it, I have nothing against you. I can see why people loved it. I know people who loved it. I hated it. I am in that side. Does that make me these certain, keywords that they like to throw in these articles? I don't think so, personally. But this is the issue that started really with episode 8. And so let's go over just the title. This is a great title, and I can't say some of these words. So, in plain sight, how white something, another something, and hate targeted the Star Wars sequel trilogy and won. And what's interesting about this article is basically they give it to the quote-unquote haters, the one who despised the episode 8 and episode 9, but not even episode 9, because they kind of talk about and prop up 9 as like, oh, this was the thing that fixed all of these the title words that we just talked about. It fixed all of these issues by JJ, but it was a terrible movie. It was received worse than episode 8, and it's like, no duh. See, these people are very tone deaf. The issue with episode 8, there's like a trillion issues, in my opinion. And episode 9, yes, JJ tried to do quite a bit to fix 8. But the issue is 9, in a lot of ways, not every way, but in a lot of ways, is so much worse than episode 8, okay? I still despise 8. I think 8, it didn't ruin Star Wars. I don't like saying that. I don't like what other people, like other YouTubers, say that. These are like The Mandalorian kind of brought it back, and I think the Obi-Wan show can be really good. Clone Wars Season 7 was like phenomenal. Certain episodes, I guess. It's Star Wars is up and down. There's no doubt about it. Star Wars hasn't been consistent almost ever. Because you even go back to the original trilogy, that was probably pretty consistent. But after that, Star Wars has never really been consistent. But this is easily the most inconsistent period, the last 7 years that we've ever had for Star Wars. And I don't think that's unfair to say. But the issue with these movies is it did create a divide in the fandom. And this article basically says that it creates a divide. But basically they're saying one side's right and one side's wrong. The side that applauded episode 8 as being this just very progressive, like they're really trying to do different stuff, like they're really taking in different directions, that should be applauded and we should get more of that. And then the people that attacked it and said, we don't want that from Star Wars, and then they were given like this fix with episode 9, and they were saying like that was all a terrible thing. Well, a couple things there. Number one, again, episode 9 did not solve episode 8 whatsoever. It tried. It pretended certain things didn't exist, which I appreciate, some of them. I appreciate the effort. But at other points, you really can't do anything about it at that point. You know what I mean? So that's not even true. I really don't know anybody, even people that I've seen online, that hated 8, but loved, adored 9. I feel like 9, again, isn't even a worse spot, because people that hated 8 also hate 9, myself included. And then people that loved 8, they definitely hate 9, because they may even think 9's like a solid movie, but because it destroyed their bubble that Rian Johnson created with 8, we should just attack 9, which is interesting because they're painting this image that, and then they of course go to connect it and they say, well, look, this is where we're going to step into just completely unreasonable territory, and we're going to say all the people that hated Episode 8, the fans of Star Wars, but they're not even really fans, because you always hear people say that. They're white. They're obviously white. They have to be white people that hate a lot of different things, and that's pretty much it. So if you are not white and you hated Episode 8, I don't think you exist, personally. So if you comment and you say, Alex, I'm Asian, I'm black, I'm whatever, I don't like Episode 8, I just assume you're not real, because, I mean, that's what the article basically says. And that's how stupid these people are. That's it really becomes like a fantasy world where, like, I can tell from, like, people that watch me, for the most part, I don't think everybody, but the like, people that have been with me for a long time, we've had multiple disagreements. Like, I'll like a movie or a game, and you guys won't, or you will, and I won't. And I love the group we're building because we kind of understand, and I want to build. That's my biggest thing over the past several years of drilling it into people's heads, because I always say it, difference of opinions are okay. You cannot agree with me, and we're cool. I say that, like, once a day, like in one video a day, right? I always say that, and people will say, why do you take time away in your videos by saying it? Because I think it's important, because not everybody, this is what happens when you don't check people, you know what I mean? If you don't tell people the difference of opinions are okay, you have people that literally go after Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels kind of backed up fans, saying, like, he feels sorry that they felt slighted. And this website goes after him. They went after J.J. Abrams, which, look, J.J. deserves a lot of criticism, but not even in the reasons that this article said. But the biggest thing, again, is this. Well, and there's two things. Number one, again, it's an article that's telling fans you cannot have an opinion that differs from ours. You cannot have an opinion that differs from the mainstream. You cannot have basically a negative opinion. Disney, there are overlords. Lucasfilm, specifically Kathleen Kennedy too, there are overlords. We should be thanking them. We should be kissing them, basically, because they're giving us these masterpieces. And even if we don't agree, we better be bowing to them, because if we're not, we are white, blank, 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 blank. And I know that maybe sounds very exaggerated, but that's not. That's literally what just a fraction. It may not be the biggest fraction in the world, but a specific group of this war that's happened with Star Wars fans. This is the path that they've chosen to go down, that you're not allowed. And honestly, I would even go so far to say Disney executives. And we've seen Lucasfilm, people that work inside Lucasfilm that are just horrible people. They personally hate the fans. I mean, there's countless examples of people, employees that go after people. We had Pablo Hidalgo and many, we won't go down that path. But, like, if you disagree, you're not allowed to. It's not like you're allowed to. It's not like, oh, you guys may like Episode 8, and you say, you know what, I really loved Episode 8, and I say I hate it. And we're like, cool. We'll talk tomorrow. You guys will watch a different video of mine. I'll heart your comment. I'll respond to your comment later. We have these kind of, like, it's cool. We're cool. We understand we're not the exact same person. That would get pretty boring if we all, thought and did exactly the same thing as each other, right? But again, for a thing like Star Wars, you have to paint specific groups. You have to attach it to specific groups. I know there are some YouTube channels that some consider to be this word, that word. I don't agree with most of them in the first place. But even if you want to say that, well, what about me? I hated it. I made videos, actually big, like 200, 300, 400,000 viewed videos back when Episode 8 came out, attacking it. Am I those things? I don't think so, but I was part of that. A lot of people were part of that. It's not a very small group that hated it. It's not like 99% loved it and 1% hated it, and like the 1%'s just like this like a certain, like a T kind of group, if you guys know what kind of word I'm trying to say. It's not like that. I mean, it's I would say a very big divide, and the article just makes it seem like, number one, you're not allowed to have these opinions, and number two, if you do, you're these certain words, and like it's not okay, when it's like, just learn that not everybody needs to think like you. And again, no matter how much you loved it or hated it, you cannot deny it split up the group. And I would argue, like, that's the worst thing. Whether it was a great movie to you or a bad movie, I think it probably should never have happened, just simply because of the massive wedge it divided or I guess put into the fandom. That's just kind of my personal opinion. Like when I look back to it, it's like it's the Thanos thing. Like, did you do it? Yes. Was it worth it? I don't think it was worth it because you destroyed so many different things in the process, all for what? Episode 8 and 9? Like, was 8 and 9 really worth all of this? Absolutely not. And we're still seeing it years after episode 8, a couple years, a year and a half after episode 9, we are still seeing people fighting. And it's probably because of articles like this, because this article is flat out labeling people that disagree with them and attacking them and saying you're the reason that certain stuff has happened. That's not true whatsoever. And by the way, there's people on Twitter posting it. I saw one guy, I could not even believe it. He's talking about how they give like statistical data and all this stuff. There's not one statistic in this entire, I guess they say 40%, but they don't give any examples. So where does 40% even come from? There is zero evidence or stats for anything in this article. It's purely opinion, and it's purely one-sided opinion claiming something is true. So I mean, I don't know how this is factual and like backed up by science and all this stuff that this guy was saying. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So again, this is truly one of the worst articles, especially Star Wars, I've ever read. I cannot believe it. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. I've always been vocal about 8, but I don't care if you loved it. I really don't. I don't care if you loved it. I don't care if you hated it. You're welcome here, and I think we can have a talk. If you loved it and you like despise me and you say you need to love it, or like things like, I'm not saying you guys will, but those are the people that don't. Those are the losers. Those are the people that don't belong anywhere because they can't get along. They can't even accept that somebody would think differently from them. And I don't think I have that many people that are around that do that. But this article, this kind of grows those kind of, brainwashed individuals. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so all these videos go up. One final thing, if you guys want to, I have 2 different things I kind of want to plug. If you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, it's called Podcast Now Plus. I also have a Twitter. It's called Podcast Now 15 is the Twitter handle. Both those things, the links for them are in the description below. Would appreciate if you guys check that out as well. Thank you for watching, guys. If I see any more of these stupid articles, I'll be sure to make videos on it. I hope to see you all on the next video.